Hello, SolarLune here, and here is well, I was going to say another, but here is just a devlog update video. So hi, first of all, I'm SolarLune. I'm an independent game developer, and I've been working for the past few months on a game project called I Know Who I Am. But this video isn't about that game. Actually, this is about something else. Around Tuesday of this week, I was working on I Know Who I Am, and I said, well, I think I need a project management software to help me really write down what I want to have happen in the story and kind of visualize my thoughts. And so I asked on Twitter for people to give me some ideas, but no one really. Well, people did give me ideas, but none of the suggested pieces of software were really, I feel like, ideal for indie developers. And so I decided to make my own independent game developer game plan creation software, project management software. And so that's what I'm doing. It's written in Go with Raylib, and this is the current state of it, which is pretty good. So I'll kind of go into it a little bit here and there. Just walk through it. Pardon me. Walk through it real quick, and explain what I have so far. So firstly, at the center point is basically now, and so we have a little timeline at the top that shows what is yesterday and what is tomorrow. And I should probably put a time up here if I can. Basically, this will serve for a purpose to have a little bit of a time scale, so you can see like, I can put something here and know, okay, Saturday's approaching or Sunday's approaching, and that's the deadline, that kind of thing. So this is going to be for a deadline application more so. It's not done yet, but it's still a work in progress. So the real meat of the software comes in from tasks, and you do that. You use tasks by creating them and then customizing them. So you can right-click and choose to create a task or delete a task, copy or paste. And so when you create a new task, you'll see that the task count at the bottom left goes up. Currently there's 45 tasks in this project, 0 of them are completed and 0% is completed, and there's 1 selected currently. You can copy and paste with Control-C, Control-V, or you can right-click and choose copy and right-click and choose paste. You can also delete with the delete key. I guess I need cut. I might need cut. Anyway, okay, so when you double click on the task, you have the ability to open it and customize it. So you can, for example, type in "this is a task," and then when you close out, it'll have that text, "this is a task." And so this is a checkbox task. So if you click on the completed checkbox, the task turns green, and we can see there's 1 completed task in this project, and the project is currently 2% complete, which is nice. Now you can also press C to just toggle completion on a task. Something else you can do is type in more by pressing enter, and type in more into the description. Here, some more information for the description. And when you do, it will be truncated. Only the first line of the task description shows up on the task itself. The rest is hidden, and it gives you this little ... symbol that kind of indicates, hey, there's more to this. And so you can double click on it to look into it. One of the tasks that I want to implement for this project is the ability to hover over it and basically see what the full description is without having to actually open it. All right, something else you can do is create a different kind of task. So this will be a progress bar task. There's a task type here that you can cycle through, and there's a few different kinds, but the progress bar task basically just allows you to go ahead and have a bar associated with your progress, with your task, as opposed to a button. So we have, for example, 65% of the task done, and you can see that the progress bar in the back of the task is drawn. So you can see it's about 65% full. And once it gets up to 100, it turns green like the Boolean task, like the checkbox. Something else you can do is add a note. And a note is basically an incompletable task. You can see that it does not basically count toward the task count at the bottom left, but it also does allow you to fully type a description. So you can type in more information to explain something else. This is easier than opening a task all of the time. So this allows you to have a little bit more control over how your tasks appear and when they appear and how much information they give you. And it might be nice to maybe have something that allows you to hide a note task to maybe like a little square, something like that. That's an idea anyway. Something else you can do is add image tasks, which they don't, much like notes, they can't be completed, but they allow you to display images on your task board, on your plan. So you can click on the load button, and for whatever reason, the file prompt always shows up behind the window. I'm not sure why, but it always does. And it doesn't seem like it's really possible for me to fix that currently at the current stage. Maybe I'll have to look into it a little bit more and see if there's something I can do about that. But yeah, you can click on load, and then it'll give you the option to load in an image. And so you can load an image, or you can go ahead and just go to a location on your computer and drag an image onto the screen, onto the program, and it'll automatically create an image task for you with the path associated to it. And so the image is now in your plan. This doesn't store the actual image; it's just storing the path to the image. So if the image is deleted, then the image task in your plan just turns into a blank white box. All right, cool. That's basically all the stuff I have implemented so far, which is quite a lot. You can also stretch images by clicking the bottom right box. You can restore them by clicking the top left one. Yeah, so there's a few other pieces of functionality like that, but for the most part, this is basically everything to the project. Yeah, and so I have quite a few other ideas to implement that would make it just a more interesting and fun piece of software to use, to more easily allow you to combine ideas together to your plan and make them a little bit more of a visually appealing, visually engaging, make them more visually engaging to interact with and to kind of have recorded down than just a text document, than just a markdown file. Yeah, so that's the general idea behind the program. Currently it's called Master Plan right now, but I'm thinking either this or maybe Presto. I like Presto because it's snappy, it's kind of like magic, right? It's kind of like it's a sleight of hand surprise, it's that easy kind of an idea. That's kind of, I like the sound of that. It's a very catchy name. So Presto I think would be cool, or Master Plan, because it's all going according to your master plan. So that's a nice name too. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments for names. That'd be nice. Apart from that, I'll explain a little bit of why I decided to make this piece of software in a little bit. There's something else I wanted to add. Oh, it also automatically saves and loads, so you don't have to do anything extra. You just close the program, come back, it's ready, exactly as you left it. So if you zoom in, for example, right on this guy, come back, you're right on that guy. He selected, everything's the same. Yeah, so basically it starts up in like 0.9 seconds because John Blow won't have anything less. Nah, I'm kidding. But like, it starts up super fast because it has to, why are we making software that starts up in, 15 seconds just to open a project, like just to start a new project? It should start up so quick. It should be so easy and so simple and so fast. Everything should be fast on computers of, 8-core, 3.9 gigahertz computers. Like, why is anything slow? Yeah, so this is the current situation. There's still quite a bit I want to do. I want to make it so that you can zoom out one level further. Like, this level should be legible because this should be 1920 by 1080, and then one more level out should be kind of like this, where it's not legible. The text isn't legible, but you can still kind of get an overview of your project. I want to add the ability to basically number tasks if they're touching. So for example, this will be number 1, this will be 2, this will be 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 3, 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.1, something like that. That'd be nice, because then you could kind of get an idea of like the order of tasks. Yeah, there's quite a few ideas I have to make this more interesting, or just more functional and just like a cleaner piece of software. I want something that's really clean, very simple, not a lot of menus, not a lot of things. I want something kind of like if Nintendo made a task management software. Like if they made a game where you manage tasks, it would be like this, like something super clean, super simple, almost mobile game-ish in terms of like how clean it is. I want something that's super clean, doesn't take a lot of time to learn, but does exactly what you want it to do, exactly when you need it to do, to help you plan your projects. Kind of. That's kind of the idea, kind of my inspiration. When I actually launch the program, I'm probably going to have a example project that basically walks you through using the software. So for example, it'll say something like, click here, double click on this, to open it and edit the text. So when you first start up the program, it'll say, welcome to master plan. Double click on this task to open it and to edit the text. This is a checkbox task. This is a progress bar task. It'll kind of walk you through it, and you'll just kind of scroll along and see how it works. So it won't really have a README. It'll just have kind of like a not really interactive, but just kind of like a visual explanation of how to use the project, how to use the program. All right, cool. So this is definitely quite a few ideas here. Yeah, so it's written in Go. It's native, nice and fast, snappy. As for the reason why, let me see if I can pull up my post here. Okay, so there's a few different steps, or a few different reasons why I decided to make my own software. And I know I'm kind of reinventing the wheel for some things, because I have to get like a clipboard, reading and writing library to be able to read and write to the clipboard, right? Whereas if you were to make this software yourself in some other thing, like a GTK application or some sort of like more operating system-y software tool, it would be kind of free to get stuff like clipboard applications, clipboard, copying and pasting, cutting, all that stuff. But it's fun to do this myself. But the reason why I kind of fundamentally wanted to make this software was because one is that a lot of the existing project management software I've seen are complicated, and maybe they're simple in terms of like overall they're simple, but for someone who might be just like one person, you really don't need a lot of stuff for project management. Like, if you're just one guy, if you're just maybe an indie team of 3 or 4 people, you might be able to get by with this software, as opposed to something like a Kanban board where it's like, you have to do, you have implementing, you have testing, and you have completed. It's like, well, I don't really need 4 different columns. You might only need 2, like something that you plan to do and something that you've done, and you just move stuff from planned to done, and that's it. So they can tend to be complicated. They can tend to be kind of over-designed for individual people or small numbers of people. And so that's kind of one of the reasons that I decided to make this software. Another reason is that they tend to, if they're even downloadable, they tend to require running servers, like PHP servers or other servers to serve a website. Basically, that is the project management software. Or they're cloud hosted, which isn't ideal for an independent developer. You want software I want software that's on my computer that I not own per se, but that I have access to the executable files for, so that I don't have to be online. I don't have to worry about account licenses or anything like that. It's just something that I have and I run, and it does its job, and then it's done, and that's it. And I'm better for it. My project is better for it. Another reason is that existing project management software can be difficult to version control, because you can't really commit your current plan to your repo, to your project repo. So if you have your code in one directory, you have to have your plan, your project map in an entirely different place on an entirely different service online. You have to go to Firefox or Chrome or a web browser to look at it and edit it. It's just not ideal. The project file is just a JSON file, so you can commit it with the rest of your code. It can be right in it will be able to be right in your project source directory. It'll be just an ordinary file, and you can commit it and look back at it and examine it. And so that's another reason why the existing software isn't great, is because it separates your code from your project plan. These are two things that are right interlinked. They should be right together. You should be able to look at your code, look at your plan, understand it, work on the code based on the plan, complete the code, complete the plan, commit everything together. You shouldn't have to have two different locations for two different parts of one thing. It's one thing, so why can't you just commit your one thing to one place? So it doesn't require any accounts. It won't require you to be online. It won't require you to use a specific service. It won't run in a browser. It's going to be native, so it's going to be fast. It's going to be light. It's going to start up in under a second like this. That's the ideal anyway. That's what I'm definitely aiming for this, and not for wait 17 seconds to start up your software. Like, no, just jump into it. It's not that hard. It's not that complex. It's right there. Boom, we're running. And so that's kind of the reasons why I wanted to make my own software. I wanted to make something nice and fast, super simple, super easy, and that's the idea. So to release this eventually, I'm probably gonna release this. I feel like at this rate of development, I might release it next week or the following week, because like there's not that much that needs to be done to get it to the point where it can be usable. Really, all I need is just like, I want to make the text box better. I want to have the ability to like create a new project, open a project, an existing project, or save an existing project. But yeah, it already loads and saves fine. It's just, it only loads and saves one project file. So I want to be able to specify that using like a file manager or something. But yeah, this is working well. This is working pretty well, I think, so far. I think it's a nice, solid tool. So that's what I've been working on. I'm probably gonna do like Aseprite and make it like open source but paid, maybe just optional pay. So like it'll be open source. You can find it on GitHub. There won't be any builds there, but you can get builds from like itch.io from my page there, and maybe it'll be like $5 or $10, or it'll be like $5 or $10 optional. So you can choose to pay that, but otherwise it'll be free. I'm not sure just yet, because I worked on this for a pretty good amount of time, and I think it's a pretty solid tool that I haven't really seen something like. And so I want to put it out there and have people use it, and ideally improve upon it. So that's the current state of the project, current plan, and yeah. Thanks for watching. I've been SolarLune, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time with more information about this or I Know Who I Am. And yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. See ya.